Hi there, you're on Gossip Says channel. Enjoy watching, subscribe and like it. It's growing our community.
Story 1. 19 meters. My close friend, 19F. I was in love with passed away, and I don't know what to do with myself. My close friend of 2 years passed away 2 months ago in late August. My friend Emily 19, fake name, was one of my closest friends I've ever had took her own life. I loved her dearly and would spend hours talking to her almost every day, even when she moved to college 4 hours away from home. I had a lot of feelings for her, but I never had the balls to say it to her. She would call me before bed and make me stay on call with until she fell asleep. She would always tell me that when she talked to me before falling asleep, she wouldn't have nightmares and how she'd sleep longer and better, which made me weak for her. So I'd always answer and talk to sleep. She trusted me, so she'd tell me about everything bothering her, and our friends knew this. This will be important later. This happened at 1 a.m., and I was going to leave the country for a week at 5 a.m. So I was trying my best to sleep, given to the fact I have insomnia. I had only just fallen asleep when she called me like a complete and total idiot. I had put my phone on silent, trying to just sleep for a bit before my flight, so I missed her call. A part of me thinks she did it on purpose because she knew I'd be trying to sleep. She sent me a voice note telling me what she was going to do and that she's sorry. I didn't wake up until it was too late. And just like that, she was gone, and I had to get on a plane. I tried calling her. I tried calling our mutual friend, but no luck. Our mutual friend blames me fully, because apparently I'm the only person she's tried reaching out to before she took her own life. I understand that they are grieving and they want someone or something to hate. So I understand why they are mad at me, hate me, and blame me. Honestly, I feel so bad for not being there for her when she needed me most. Since she passed, I feel so lost of what to do with myself. I was having a really hard time accepting we couldn't be together when she was alive, because I felt she didn't want me, and I didn't want to ruin or risk our friendship by saying anything. So I was trying to move on and find myself a good woman. But when she passed, it truly made me feel broken. I'm trying now move than ever to move on and find myself a good woman. But I just feel so wrong for doing it, trying to move on. But hell, we were never even together. I wanted Jeff, I truly do. And I know Emily wouldn't want me sitting around drowning in my own sorrow. But I feel so heartbroken, but I also feel I have no right to feel that way. After all, she wasn't my girlfriend, just one of my closest friends and the girl I love dearly. So what can I do to feel less heartbroken? And do I even have the right to feel so heartbroken? Any advice of what to do would be great, and any advice on what I should do about our mutual friend would be great. Thanks for your time and thank you for reading. Story 2. I'm done trying in our marriage. I'm just with my wife for our kids. My wife and I have been together for 14 years, married for almost 10 years. We're from very culturally different background. I was raised in a traditional background, and she's from the Midwest. I have been in the States for over 10 years now, and living in the Midwest, I have no friends, no family. It is one of the states where it is really hard to make friends if you're an outsider. I've never been very articulate, but I'll try. I just need to vent. I need to go somewhere and scream, because I am just done trying in our marriage. My wife is very passive, and I have been someone who always speak up when something has been wrong. I make enough money for both of us, and right now she works part-time hybrid job. She doesn't try in sex. She doesn't try in our marriage to have date nights. She does the bare minimum around the house. Before we got married, I did my best to make sure she knew that she wasn't marrying me, but marrying my family. She said yes to everything and then backtracked on everything, like what religion our kids would be raised. It was surprising, since she is not very religious, neither am I. So I just gave in to her demands. My parents are old. They live in another country. They are needy. I made sure she knew that, knew how to handle them. One of our understanding before marriage was that, since I am the only child, it would be odd for them to come visit us and stay for a few months. She said odd to that. But when that happened, I was going through some very hard and stressful time at work. She didn't care. She would bitch and moan when I would come home, which added more stress to me at that time. She then insisted that my parents couldn't visit for more than a month. It has been 5 years since I saw them. They don't want to come visit anymore because of my wife. In bed, I pretty much do everything. Once she's satisfied, she'll keep asking if I've come yet, so she can be done. Couple nights ago, she did multiple times and then kept asking me. So I just said yes and we stopped. While she says she loves me, it seems more to keep herself fulfilled and happy rather than being in a relationship. I have had several breakdowns and poured my heart out to her, to tell her exactly what has been bothering me, what I feel is missing. She'll then participate for a few days, and then it just goes back to her same behavior after that. Just the other day, she did something really bad. I did not get upset, but just sighed and didn't say anything. She then looked at me and goes, "Why are you not getting mad at me?" That behavior has been her MO in our relationship. Whenever she's at fault for something, she waits until I either raise my voice in frustration or get mad and she cried and tries to play victim. She'll always turn it around saying things like "you don't love me anymore" and pouting and being sad. This time I told her I am done getting mad at her because I know what she's doing and what kind of reaction she is looking from me, so she cannot take blame for anything. She is just passive. She is so much like her mother. I just can't deal with my wife anymore. I am working really hard to just be passive like her. Have this Midwest personality of letting things play out. I don't want to get a divorce because of our young kids. She used to be teacher and now works part-time admin job. I've had a very different schooling than her because we were raised in a different country. I've asked her time and time again that we should participate at home. Do some more school activities 30 to 60 minutes a day when they come home. I asked her to help with that since I didn't go to school here and because she used to be a teacher. Nope. She would just let the kids have screens when they would come home so she didn't have to deal with them. Finally, I bought some of those activity books for their grade at Costco, and when I come home early, I sit with them and do the activities. She's a freaking teacher. I expected her to be all over this, but nope. I am just going to focus on them to raise them well, save enough for them to pay for college and take care of them. I am just done. I feel like she tells me she loves me because it makes her feel better and fulfilled, because she otherwise does the bare minimum in our relationship. I just can't try anymore. I can't deal with her anymore. I am just done trying, and like they say in the Midwest, I will let it fucking play out. Story 3. I, 27M, found real connection with a girl, 28F, on Bumble. But is it worth having hopes? I moved abroad 1 year ago, and before that I've spent 3 years pretty much single but seeing some people short-term, going to therapy and trying to figure out myself. After 3 years, I feel like I am finally free of being driven by my past unhealthy behaviors when it comes to love. 3 weeks ago, I met a girl on Bumble. We went on our first date after 3 days talking, and everything was perfect. We talked a lot. Time felt always short with her. And on our second date, I stayed over at hers. I prepared dinner for us, watched some Star Trek together. She loves the show, and I have never watched it, and spend the night just cuddling together. We both are really good at communicating our needs and our ideas about how we felt with each other, and what are we looking in a relationship. We both want someone to have by our side, even in the distance, but trying to be together as a goal, trying to have a future together. We kept talking every day until we had our third date just walking at a coffee festival in our city, and then we came to my place. I cooked some lunch for us, and in the midst of it she told me that she isn't sure about her feelings. She said that because of her experience in past relationships with men, she thought that the partners were the issue. But even though to her I was perfect, she wasn't feeling it, and told me that she felt that these feelings were going more towards friendship, but making clear that it wasn't fully as a friend, and that maybe with time she may fall in love. She was clear about taking things slow because she has always dated friends and not someone that she didn't fully knew before. And I feel that I fucked up by being honest with her on our second date about how I felt. After that we cried together and hugged and just had lunch and watched some more Star Trek, and I asked her to wait 2 days so we could think about everything. After that she told me that she realized that in her head, her life partner is a woman, but that she is attracted to men. We are both bi, and that she needed some stability, and it isn't clear if she is leaving the country next year or not. In her words, it is unlikely. I accepted what she said, and we are trying to be friends. But I think it is too late for me, and I have fallen for her. Because of her, a change started inside of me. trying to be a better person since the very first moment, and I feel like I am feeding on my own hopes. But at the same time, I don't want to be the kind of person that ignores the other person's feelings and decision, so I am not pushing her. I want to talk about it with her again, but maybe after some time, because I feel like if I just keep bringing up the topic for a third week straight, she might think that I am just chasing. I really feel like just maintaining this situation is enough for me as long as we can spend some time together and keep being a positive influence to each other. But I also feel like I am betraying her decision and myself by doing so just for the hope of love. Story 4. My 31F. Girlfriend wants to talk every evening, but doesn't have much to say. She always puts the onus on me, 29M, to field the conversation. How do I deal with this need of hers when she isn't talkative? She's the loveliest, sweetest girl. But now that the honeymoon period is wearing off, it seems as though we are falling more into a routine. I am personally fine with this. We see each other at minimum 2 days a week, sometimes up to 4. We both want to touch base at the end of the day, but where I am happy to just see her face and hear her voice over FaceTime, she wants details and emotions from my day. Sometimes, in all honesty, I don't want to rehash my day and relive it by talking to her about it. I'd rather veg out and read, watch a film/TV, be at the gym, be doing something, rather than reliving my work day. Reason: my days are often mundane. There's really not that much to talk about. And I don't necessarily want to elaborate on what I felt when I was on LinkedIn or how I did something admin heavy at work. You know, corporate office-y things. It feels like a self-imposed Groundhog Day to talk about your day/job again. You wake up, do your job from 9 to 5, and then have to talk about it in recap form again from 9 p.m. 10 p.m. before bed. That literally feels like hell to me. My job pays the bills. I'm grateful for my job, but I am not passionate about my job. My job allows me to do other things in my life that I am passionate about. I have given her extreme detail in the past and have talked at length about hobbies and interests I am passionate about. But, on a daily basis, I feel it's impossible to constantly have something to say when you talk that often. However, on the flip side, she really never has anything to say. I'm all for being on the phone with her if she had something to tell me. Instead, I'll hear about her day in list form. I did this, then I did that, then I did this. But I don't ever hear about an amazing song she heard that she's going nuts for, or something she read in the news that made her sick, and how she feels about it. Basically anything that captivates her interest. I am fine with this. I think this is normal. But because she wants something to happen, because she wants a spark in every conversation we have, I end up feeling exhausted. Because it feels like she is expecting me to say something we can springboard off. So where I want to switch off, I feel the pressure to be on and almost entertain. I told her how I felt about all this, and I feel it has fallen on deaf ears. She told me this morning that she feels I am stressed with my job at the moment, and that's why it didn't flow last night / we butt heads. She hasn't acknowledged that I talk a lot. The ratio is completely uneven, and yet she's wanting more. It's frustrating. I'm wondering if this is an incompatibility issue that's really just rearing its head now. She's constantly saying that she is boring and has a boring life. Her words, not mine. I've tried talking to her about it. What else can be done to get this better? Story 5. My 33F. Husband, 32M, is grieving the loss of his father in ways that are hurting both of us. What can I do to understand better or help him? Can anyone offer advice? Husband's dealing with loss and changing drastically. It scares me. I want to preface by saying that I'm not looking for people to just blindly agree with me and tell me he's the problem or anything like that. I'm just at my wit's end and I want to understand better. My husband is 32. His grandfather died in February of this year, almost 8 months ago. Both his parents were drug addicts, so his grandfather was essentially a father to him, and generally when I ask for advice I phrase it that it was his father that passed because that's what the relationship was more like. So far since February, we've been dealing with closing his grandfather's estate and getting his house ready to put on the market, as well as purchased our own home and all the repairs and renovations that come along with that. We also got married in August after dating for 10 years. About 2 months after his grandpa died, his aunt, who he also lived with on and off for years due to his addict parents, also passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. I'm the first to admit that this has been an incredibly stressful year for him, and I probably would have had a nervous breakdown by now if it were me. The thing I'm struggling with is the fact that he's become a different person. He's snappy, passive-aggressive, and downright cruel at times. He blames me for everything, and I do mean everything. He started losing weight and blamed me for not making him eat more often. He had oral surgery and couldn't remember where he laid paperwork because he was still high from the anesthesia/surgery drugs. But it was my fault because I didn't follow him around and see where he laid them down. These aren't dramatic retellings of the story. They are exactly the words and phrases he uses. He will blame me for things that I would be humiliated to blame someone for, because it is so obviously not their fault. He's changed so much. If he was this way at the beginning of our relationship, I never would have stuck around. The last 2 months of our marriage, I felt nothing but loneliness and isolation. I've talked to him endlessly about grief and how he needs to talk to somebody, be it a support group or a psychologist or grief counselor of some kind. He told me this weekend that he is adamant that he absolutely refuses to seek help for this and that he just needs to hold on until the end of the year. I asked him what's going to happen at the end of the year, and he didn't have an answer. I think in his mind something is going to magically change once the new year is here, but I know that that's not how grief works. He acknowledges that he's sad, but he is insistent that I'm the one who's changed. He says I'm hypersensitive and that I can't take a joke. His jokes are passive-aggressive remarks about me. And this morning he actually called me psychotic and stormed out of the house. I don't know what else to do for him. I can't make him go to counseling, but his mental health is destroying both him and our marriage. I would feel awful leaving someone in their time of suffering like this. But now much more can I take when he refuses to seek help.